We are here to bring you everything and anything surrounding Porsche. I'm Mike.
I'm Aaron.
And this is Pcar Talk.
Welcome to another episode of Pcar Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Aaron.
And we have a ton to talk about. Obviously, this is going to be Daytona of the week.
Yeah.
Kickoff of IMSA.
24 hours.
So race season is already here for everybody listening, probably freezing their nuts off wherever you're at.
Not here, though.
Not down here. So, but let's go ahead and get started. This episode is sponsored by Darin Pfister at fdmotorsports.net.
Yep.
Thank you, Darin, for sponsoring us again.
Yep. Thank you.
And basically, he sells everything in the Porsche lineup, from shifters to exhaust, from 964, 993, 997,
Yep.
996, Boxster Cayman. So basically what he does, you send a core exhaust back to him. It doesn't have to be that way. It's just a little bit more extra if you don't have a core. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you want to keep your stock exhaust, you can do that. He can send you another one, and you can have both. But they Cerakote it, they can ceramic coat it, they can do whatever you want. They can anodize them and make them black. But what he does is he has his own patented thing that he does to the stock exhaust that gives it more horsepower and also gets the deeper tone. So those guys that are looking for the basic stock look or don't want to do anything kind of crazy out of the norm where they're worried about fitment, because some places do have fitment issues when you do aftermarket exhaust, Darin's obviously the man to go to for that. In addition to that, Darin has been such well crafted that Singer is using his shifters in their Singer cars.
Yep.
So if you don't know who Singer is, climb out from under the rock.
Yeah. Peek out.
Yeah. Get your Porsche IQ up, because they're doing big things, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that they're partnering with Darin to use those parts in their cars says about quality, because Singer is all quality all day long in every avenue of their vehicle. So help support those who help support Pcar Talk. Darin obviously is supporting us. He is a business. He is running a business. In addition to us, we are running a business. So, check him out. Go to fdmotorsports.net. Purchase something from him. He also runs more, sells more things than just exhaust and shifters.
That's what he's known for, though.
Exactly. That's his bread and butter. But in addition to that, if you get on there, there's a whole host of, Porsche swag, all different types of stuff on there. They have everything from mugs to jackets, in addition to, all types of things on there. So get on there, check him out. Tell him Pcar Talk sent you. Buy something from Darin. Be a stand-up Porsche owner. Don't be a snob. Don't be stingy with your money. Get out there and do something, right? So let's get on with the show. As far as information goes, we have a ton of it, so hang on. And if you're in your office, wherever, you're sitting in traffic, well, sit back and relax. So Porsche set a record in 2019. We talked about quarterly stuff in a prior episode, but as far as sales for them, overall sales was up 10%.
Which is a
significant amount in any industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're selling any kind of product, if you're sitting around and you're like, wow, we manufactured a product and we sold it, you can, anybody who's listening, wherever you work in any industry, if you've had an increase in 10%, that's huge. Overall sales, 280,000 plus cars.
Which is a big number.
Huge number for a small company. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I think because Porsche has such a big footprint, I think the stereotypes, at least not necessarily all the listeners, but just in the general public, they assume Porsche is just as big as any other company. Mm. But they're really a boutique company, kind of. So to sell 280,000 units is a lot. And now, granted, were a lot of those cars Macans, Cayennes and Panameras? Yes, they were. But at the end of the day, they're still selling units. Yeah. And we've done this circle round talk before many, many times about those cars are sold for guys like us and maybe some of the listeners that are out there that, one, you have the opportunity, or if you are in a position to buy a GT car or one of those cars that it's a low production number, like 12 to 1,500 cars, those cars help support that R&D, because it does take a lot of money to manufacture a vehicle like that. So all of those people buying all those cars, thank you.
Yeah, thanks
for giving us performance cars, essentially, right? Because unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we've run into many people in our travels where we go places and we do things, and they're like, oh yeah, I have a Cayenne and I have this, and they're like, oh yeah, we do a Porsche podcast, and we're going to the Rolex 24, and they're like, oh really, what is that?
Yeah, some people just don't know.
And I pick myself off the ground after they say something like that, and I go, Well, it's only the kickoff race for the season. It's one of the better races of the entire IMSA season.
Yeah, they don't know they're part of the team yet.
Exactly. It's like you spent 80 on that Cayenne, probably 70 on that Macan. You're invested $150,000 into the company, and you don't know what any of where your car is derivative from.
Yeah.
Like they didn't go to mall parking lots and sit around and try to design those cars of like, okay, this is how these go over speed bumps. So this is what we need.
It is.
Exactly.
See how it handles.
Look at that. Didn't even spill your latte. Badass. No.
I'm checkbox.
Yeah. Educate yourself. Step your game up. You're part of the family.
Yeah.
Act like it. Don't be that guy at Thanksgiving that doesn't know what's going on, because that's who you are. That's who I'm describing right now. They show up and they're like, huh?
I got one too, yeah.
There's football on today? Why did we eating this bird right now? It's like, come on, brah. But anyways, super big year for 2019. Not shocked by the numbers.
No.
Your theories behind why Porsche was able to succeed and I'm not saying this, this is all from all the auto riders that are out there, kind of in a down market as far as 2019 from an automotive standpoint, why they're able to be up 10% and most are actually down and declining sales.
I've got one word for you.
Let's hear it.
Taycan.
Okay.
I think that those production numbers now, they doubled that production before when they initially launched. And I think that's probably enough number to justify a 10% raise in sales.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm talking like these are 280,000 that were delivered in 19, though.
Oh, 19. Okay, well.
And they're still doing well for future sales. And I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get your thoughts and thesis, behind why they had such a strong 19 as opposed to maybe any other year. And you're probably right, even indirectly with Taycan, because it has so much buzz.
Yeah, I mean, still they were purchased, and I guess.
Yeah, allocations are purchased, correct.
So I'd say that Taycan is probably some of that. But I mean, they're making a good quality product, and people are, I guess, finding out about it. They're doing better marketing. They're doing more marketing, I think.
I think that's what it is, right there. What you just said.
Yeah. I think I've seen them a lot.
That's where I was going to run with is like
magazines and other stuff.
Absolutely, and a lot of other areas where they can be at. Porsche has accepted that. Like we're seeing, obviously they have their own social media situation where they run their own YouTube. So when anything new is happening, they have like a little video, and
they're doing more launches, more live streams, more. They're kind of making a more to do about it.
Exactly, and same thing like when they launched all the cars that they launched this year, even the 992, talking outside of Taycan, they live fed that through YouTube for people to watch. You and I watched it as it was happening, and it was not podcast. I keep saying podcast. Sorry, YouTubed around the entire world. At different times, but whenever it was live for whatever arena or region it was in, it was being basically broadcast live so people could see it if you couldn't be there. So I think it's marketing. And so you kind of not necessarily stole my thunder, but that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and I mean, we see it too with all the dealerships too, doing their own little launches for the 992 this year.
Yeah, we went to a couple of them.
It might be. I mean, maybe the 992 could have been some of those sales as well.
I think it was.
I mean, I think
it was.
I don't think there's anything that's been like earth.
And there's all new like Macan coming out for 2020.
The Cayenne Coupe.
Maybe so there was a lot of new vehicles coming out, and maybe that is part of the game. And we kind of joked about it earlier when we started first podcasting earlier last year. We discussed things of like how many more of these things are they going to make, and how many more of these does it make sense to make? Well, apparently, we don't know what the hell we're talking about because they do, because they're 10%. Like we fast forward 12 months and we bitched and moaned about all of the makes and models within their own lineup that they have. Clearly, there's a science to this madness here.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't have anything new, then are you relevant?
That's a good point, especially now. And it's like you bring up a good point, because nowadays in almost any industry, even from a worker standpoint or wherever you fall within that category,
a year to a 2 year,
where it's like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
And if you haven't done anything for me lately, you're on the way out as opposed to on the way up.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, hey, great project, Tom. What have you done in the last 6 months? First quarter, you slammed it out of the park. You won Employee of the Year. But actually, the last 8 months, you were garbage. Yeah. So, like, you were being written up, and you were about to be fired. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm in the running for Employee of the Year. I won the first quarter. And they're like, yeah, you haven't done anything in the last 3.
Dragon Tom.
So, see you later, bud.
But I think they've definitely made more of a push for their SUV line, the Panamera line, and then with the Taycan quickly on the heels of 2019. I think that's probably...
And those are just like the basic stuff, like, because if you really, really break down 19, and we're not going to get too far in the weeds about it, but just from our standpoint of some of the things that we've been involved in, when we went to Rolex last year, they launched the GT4 Club Sport, which it didn't exist. But even from a motorsport perspective, they have all these Club Sport lines now.
They're trying to sell to
they're mass producing these. You think about some of the race series that developed from it. You have a Cayman series now.
The GT2 RS Club Sport.
Exactly.
Series.
So we didn't think about that. The 935 launch that came out this year, especially just the track edition. That we saw that at Rennsport last year, but they were being delivered this year. Obviously, that car came out prior, but they had to build them, so they sold all of those. So they're doing a great job with momentum, I guess.
Definitely planned releases.
Yeah, everything is very right when you think that there's a lull, and then something else hits, and you're like, oh, wow. Okay, where did that come from?
Or, why?
Or at least a conversation piece, right? As far as press goes, good or bad press is still press. So you're having a conversation about it, and you're forcing people to have...
Whether or not it's a, wow, you made this, or a, why did you make this?
Yeah. And for us, from a news factor, we talk about it, whether we like it or not. We're having a conversation about it where it's saying, okay, I don't understand this, but let's think this out. Why did they do this? So... kudos to them. Long story short, I know we kind of touched on that for a while, but I mean, that's an impressive feat. So congratulations to Porsche for going up 10% and also selling 280,000 units from a company that, if we go just back maybe 30 years, was on the brink of extinction.
Yeah, that's true.
And now they're surging and they're destroying the industry, and they're going to probably crush the EV game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So kudos to them. And hey, guess what? We picked the right team, huh?
Go us.
Yeah. So transitioning, next topic. Oliver Blume, CEO, if you don't know who he is, of Porsche, was quoted saying recently that we will continue to make the GT3, GT3 RS, GT2 RS model and T models, meaning 911T and Cayman T. He said, we'll keep making cars for the Porsche enthusiast. Now, he didn't say in what form those cars are going to be delivered in. He didn't just say, okay, they're always going to be combustion. He didn't make any of those promises. He just kind of, globally said, we are going to make these cars. Now, him saying that and being at a press conference and making these statements regarding those models that he described, do you feel like there was like a board meeting behind this and they felt that something needed to be said because there's been such a push behind Taycan and there's and the announcements that we've talked about in other podcasts with the forthcoming of Cayenne and the Boxster full EV in three years and 36 months essentially. Do you feel there was some pressure from an enthusiast standpoint? Was there a lot of murmuring going around? What do you think happened here? Because nobody ever sat down and was like, hey, you need to tell us what's going on. Like, this was kind of like a press conference of like, we're going to keep doing this. And everybody, they're like, where is this coming from?
I think with all the other automakers going, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. And they're just coming out with something new and not letting their customers know. I think that Porsche still wanted to go, hey, here's our solo stuff. This is what we're known for. And we're still going to do this until it's not a viable thing anymore. Yeah. To keep that customer base. I mean, it was almost kind of
like an informational, like, hey, don't jump off a bridge.
You don't have to ask us. We're going to tell you.
Okay.
We're doing this. This is our company's performance and engineering first.
Yeah, understandable. I think it was almost kind of a call to arms. I think there was probably some pressure behind it because I think there was a lot, and Porsche knows this as well, and we all know it in the public because if you're paying attention, every marketing campaign and where all the dollars are going are towards Taycan.
The Taycan and the Formula E series, and so you know that it's going
rightfully
full
so.
EV.
Rightfully so, because there's a huge investment behind that. So that needs to be on their forefront. But with that being said, obviously there's a 2020 992 out.
That's good.
So, and we've driven a lot of them. And if you haven't seen those, check out our YouTube videos, but they're outstanding cars. And regardless what anybody says, they're too big, whatever, get off your high horse. I mean, it's part of the deal. Do you think the RSR is too big for the track? Absolutely not. When you see that car, you're like, that kicks ass. So, ipso facto, larger car.
RSR.
So, but anyways, I think it was made just for people. I don't want to say, oh, it's such a unique group, but people like us or people that are like-minded to us in the sense of like have a motorsport or enthusiast background, where we've talked about it offline, where there's going to be another division coming, whether people want to believe it or not. It is happening. There's going to be another segregation when you see all of these EV cars come from Porsche, as far as meets go, or people gathering, or lack of gathering, if you want to put it that way too. Because there's going to be a whole new demographic of people that come into it that maybe aren't motorsports driven, that are just tech driven, where they're like, I don't care that Porsche won how many Le Mans. I don't care that Porsche's at the racetrack. I like the Porsche because it's well built and it's quiet and it's EV and it's good for the environment and it takes me to get my kale and I'm good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Kale.
Yeah, kale smoothie. Yeah. But anyways, in all seriousness, I think that demographic's coming, and I think that they're internally or indirectly, I should say, trying to maybe bridge that or put a Band-Aid on it before it actually happens.
They already know.
They know it's coming. There's going to be a huge group of motorsports guys like us, just like it happened with the air-cooled thing.
Yeah, they should know from the air-cooled to water-cooled.
When the 996 came, and like an atomic bomb went off. It was like, oh my God, this is the worst car I ever made.
Because then guess what? The Boxster came and they came just
it's like air-cooled or nothing, brother.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that car is faster. It has a great AC. It
did have some problems in the beginning.
Exactly. IMS. I mean, you could pick anything apart.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go down the air-cooled line. Like 964 is perfect. Hell no. It leaks like a damn sieve. Even after you do a full engine rebuild, it's just
smell Mike every time you drive.
Exactly.
Oil.
It doesn't matter. Like AC blows like freaking melting ice. Let's be straight here. All the cars have their bugaboos. Even modern cars. It doesn't matter. You can pick them apart. I think people are just too damn critical. People are so stuck in their silos where they don't want to get into the point where they see the positives. Like, Porsche's always been on the brink of forward technology. Yep. And if you understand Porsche as a core and racing and all those things, and we talked about before, those derivatives that come down into the car, well, you can't continue to win races with an air-cooled engine.
Exactly. That's their perspective when it went from, air-cooled to water-cooled to from naturally aspirated to now it's got turbos on. Everything has turbos on it because now that's more efficient, more power. Now it's all wide body, all those things. Every one of those steps are a step forward.
And it's the same scumbags who have an opinion about, oh, well, that's the new car, I'm not going to buy it. Well, guess what? If it was a new air-cooled car, you wouldn't buy it either because you're the same scumbag who just has an opinion who doesn't want to purchase something new.
Because it'd still be 100-something thousand.
Exactly. So everybody understands what opinions are. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. Unless you got a colostomy bag, so that sucks. But apologize, not sorry. But anyways, you get the point. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's technology. We've driven a lot of the brand new cars, like all generations. And I'll be the first to tell you, I mean, I want to categorize myself, but I don't like doing it because of what we're trying to do as far as break down barriers. But I enjoy air-cooled cars. I'm going to stop saying that I'm an air-cooled car guy because I think that's stupid to say now. I think it's like I enjoy air-cooled cars.
You don't think you have to be in a camp to
enjoy the car? I think you can enjoy them all from all types of spectrums. And I think it's actually a lack of research and
ignorance on the fact of what everything's
and
like.
Experience, because so many guys are like, oh my God, I can't believe a 996. And you're like, when was the last time you drove a 996 turbo? Oh, never? Then shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Oh, when was the last time you drove a 996 GT3? Oh, never? Then shut the hell up. You're like, oh, I'm just good with my SC. Okay, whatever, champ. Have fun. Why can't you have both?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of cars.
Or at least try it and have a perspective on it.
Well, I think, you can. And we've talked about this. I think there's so many people that they don't give the car a fair shake for what it's designed to do. And I think that's the same thing. Like the best analogy I can say is like, if you're going to put together something woodworking or whatever you're going to use, well, you have a nail that needs to be driven into a block of wood. Well, you're going to use a hammer to do it instead of like a screwdriver, right? Because you're going to like beat it on the hand. Like, well, that sucks. That wasn't designed to do that. But yet you have that tool to do that. For example, and I don't hate on anybody who has a GT3 like this, but you have something that's so hardcore, that's so track driven, and this is what Porsche designed it to do. But yet you go to Cars and Coffee with it, or you do, and that's not okay. It's okay to do that. Like I agree with that, but I'm just trying to use this as an analogy, try to paint a picture for you. And you're like, oh, the car rides like shit. It's so rough. The roads around here suck. Every time I go to Cars and Coffee, it's just a pain in the ass. Dude, that's not what that car was made for. Yeah. If you want to buy the turbo, then
you're holding it wrong.
Yeah, you're using the screwdriver.
Yeah,
that's a nail, bruh. What are you doing? Tighten up.
Yeah. Get
your IQ up. But anyways, we went off on that tangent. I'm sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, I think it's an interesting thing going back to the topic of took us down this like wild road. I think he made that statement because I think he thinks that it's going to silo people up.
He's worried about it. Yeah, I mean, that could be a definitely cause.
I mean, in 36 months, like we've talked about it before, we're going to see a full EV Cayman, full EV Boxster. Well, I guess what? Not too far after that, my theory behind that, 24 months after that, we're going to see a full EV 911.
Oh, have to be.
I'm not saying that's the only one you'll have to purchase, but I'm saying it will be available.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that they're going to go 6-cylinder GT4 motor for the Spider and stuff like that, and 6-cylinder back on the Cayman and Boxsters, and then go full EV as well. Like they're not continuing to.
Well, it goes back to what Oliver Blume said. Like when I first quote, he says, "We will continue to make these." He says, "We will keep making cars for the Porsche enthusiasts."
And maybe
so those 6-cylinder cars are a concession to everybody's backlash on the 718s when they came out with the 4-cylinder with the turbo on it. About, oh my god, it sounds like shit. Oh my god, I don't even know how anybody would drive that car. I'm never gonna buy one of those. You were never going to buy one anyways because you used to make fun of people with a Boxster anyway. So are you a Boxster buyer? Probably not.
Are in the realm. I mean, and we're driving them. So, and they're fun.
Yeah.
But they're not a GT4 981 fun.
No, of course not.
That 6-cylinder, I mean, the 6-cylinder makes the difference.
And I get it. I'm not trying to side with the mothership and call you guys all dumb. But at the same time, I just think it's overly hyped. I think people are so opinionated in the Porsche realm about what camp they live in, and once they draw their line in the sand, it's like they're willing to die for it. It's like
strong personality.
At the end of the day, like what the hell? How many Boxsters do you have? Are you some like Boxster collector enthusiast? Like
the Magnus Walker Boxsters?
Yeah, is it 30? That big of a deal? Come on, you're going to buy a 911 anyway, so what does it matter what they have in their lineup? But I get it. Like there's a lot of people. I agree with the people that say that car should have a flat 6 in it. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that, it's basically when you have the top down in a specific car like that, you want to have a certain sound that comes from it. Maybe if you're canyon carving or whatever you're doing, or even if cruising down the road and you want to just get on it hard, that flat 6 sounds so good. It does. Yeah. And I get that. And where I'm leading with this, with Oliver Blume and their team and all that stuff, they're listening still.
Yeah, they have to be. Otherwise, they wouldn't have changed the motor size. They would have just continued.
So they're giving that concession, which is probably production-wise, if you educate yourself, it's more of a pain in the ass for them. I'm sure it's been and costs them more money to do that.
Yeah, because they were regressing.
So now they're offering both when they were hoping to only offer one.
Yeah.
And the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm telling you guys that are listening, and I know there's all of like 2 of you, but anyways. The people that are listening, if you are buyers in those camps for Caymans or Boxsters, and they're going to have the flat 6 available, you better buy one, because I'm telling you, your window is going to be real small, because Porsche's not going to screw around. They're going to do the quantification behind this, and after probably 12 or 24 months, when all the data comes in of like the lack of sale on that car, you're going to see it disappear again, because they're like, you know what? It doesn't matter, because no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Do you think they would just take away the 4-cylinder first?
One of the two. I mean, I think from an emission standpoint, as they get more stringent, I think they're going to take the 6-pack away to say, well, guess what? You guys wanted it and you didn't buy it. So see ya the F later.
Yeah. You think they'll ever make I don't know why there'd be grounds to make one, but make a hybrid? I mean, they're making a fully.
I don't think so, because I think they're going to skip right. Like you made that point. Yeah. I think they're going to skip right to the EV. What's the point?
There's not enough. There's probably not even.
It's more dollars wasted for them.
They already have
because if they're going full EV in 3 years, there will not be a hybrid.
No, there's no reason to. So we think the Boxster. Well, we know that Boxster and Cayman are coming in 3 years. I think the 911 is going to follow suit.
Probably a few years after that.
The SUVs are probably within 12 months of the Cayman Boxster release.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Exactly. Okay, so enough of that. I think he made that statement because he felt the segregation coming, and there will be a segregation coming, no matter what he says. Because when you see a full EV 911, I think the same thinking that happened when the water cooled cars came out. And I'll throw myself on the sword right now, and I'll eat crow on it. When they come out, I'll be that guy. It's like, oh my God, look at that guy and his EV 911.
So I
look at this turd.
I saw something, and I didn't know like the complaints of it being quiet, but there's a certain electric vehicle company that we're not naming.
Yeah, that makes a whir.
They make an exhaust. Like, it's got speakers, it's got pipes. It looks.
I might throw up in my lap.
I wonder if that's coming.
It will be, unfortunately, and there'll be a lot of independent companies who make these things that try to make sounds. Just buy a car with gas combustion, then.
Yeah.
But I understand the world needs to we need to save the koala bears and the polar bears and everything else out there, and ourselves and generations and all that other good stuff. I get that's why it's happening. We can get into a whole debate about air pollution and what countries produce more than others.
We're not, because we're not that podcast.
I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but I'm not saying we're the worst. Either way, doesn't matter. It's coming whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling everybody who likes combustion engines and who likes racing and likes the sounds, if you're the guys who are sitting around on your couch saying, I'm going to make it to that race someday, get your ass up, go to the races while you can, because someday all you're going to hear are whirs around a racetrack. Mark my words. Unless you go to an HSR event where you're going to a classic event where these cars are racing at a classic event. I'm talking about at the competitive level, at EMSA, at all these things.
That's something that's doing it
someday.
Right now.
We're going to be having this conversation where we're like, oh, did you hear the whir on that thing?
Oh, sweet.
I'm like, oh, that one sounded different. They're not allowed to run. FIA's standard says they can't run a motor in that car, so I wonder what that sounds like.
That must have been full cup exhaust right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, we talked about it a lot. So, before we go on break, let's touch on it for a few minutes. Taycan RSR rendering has come out.
Yep.
So, if you haven't seen it, go online, check it out. There's a rendering. Now, there isn't anything it supports this is going to happen, but it's a pretty cool rendering, and it's worth a little bit of a conversation nevertheless. So the rendering has come out. Potential EV race series with sedans, maybe an homage to a DTM series.
Yeah, maybe they'll wake the DTM series back up.
That's what I was going to ask you. Would you, as an enthusiast, like to see something like that come back, and it be an all EV DTM series?
I don't know how I'd feel about it. It'd be cool from the fact that Porsche all of a sudden just jumped in DTM and replaced Aston now, or they have their own separate series. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about EVs racing.
Yeah, and I don't know where this would end up in any type of races, cool, but like the rendering looked really cool.
Oh, yeah. It looks super tough. They should make an RS version for.
Just to do it.
No reason, but to do it. Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Crazier things have happened.
I was going to say crazier things have happened, and I wouldn't be surprised to see sometime. I'm not saying anytime soon, but maybe when there's more buy-in from the public and these things are more popular. I wouldn't be surprised.
Juiced up like 1.5 seconds, 0 to 60.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some type of high-end, crazy-looking Taycan someday where people want to buy a street race version of it, and that's where it's going to be at. So
that would be cool.
Needless to say, I think it was worth a couple minutes of conversation. It's not. There's no DTM EV series, so we're not trying to mislead you. However, this is just an artist rendering. Yeah. I thought it looked pretty cool.
If it happens, we broke it first.
I thought it was worth a mention. Whether that ever develops, probably not, because there's probably no money in it. And as we know, people don't race if there's no money there. So, and racing always loses money, but you've got to make money somehow. And I don't think that's going to help the Taycan make any more money. So I don't really understand. I don't really see that happening. But I could have been wrong before.
Yeah. Could just be a showpiece.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a quick break, and then we have a couple more things to discuss when we get back. So we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, see you.
Thank you guys listening to Pcar Talk so much. We appreciate you guys so much. I can't say that enough. Please go to pcartalk.com and check that out. Also check us out on YouTube. We release videos on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Help support the channel. Everything we're doing is trying to bring the community closer together. We definitely appreciate that. Also, when you go onto YouTube, if you could subscribe, maybe pass it along, make a comment, we really appreciate that. Again, circling back to pcartalk.com, there is a newsletter created on there. Please put your information in there. That way we can keep you up to date on anything that's coming forward and anything that we're going to be doing moving forward and all the exciting things that are coming out. Now back to the show.
All right. Welcome back. We are back from break. So we're going to talk a little bit about, it's kind of a Seinfeld-esque issue. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the Porsche news, but Andres Pohl, I probably pronounced the last name incorrectly, and he can dominate me because he's a freaking billionaire, so I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
Probably close.
Yeah. Anyways, he's a billionaire German insurance company owner. He's the CEO. And the gist of what happened here is he bought a $500,000 73 Carrera RS from the Coys of Kensington.
Do you think it's a fair price for a 73 RS?
Yeah, it's a blue chip car. I mean, there's not that many of them. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it was in the really juicy color, was the white with the blue.
Oh man, that's the one.
Exactly, right? So he was told by the dealer that the car was a very good example and was authentic vintage model. So, after the car was delivered, he was advised that the car was rebuilt with inauthentic parts by whoever his staff is or whoever he had look at the car or what have you. So obviously super bummer, super pissed. Spent $500,000 on something. Regardless if you're a billionaire, you're going to be upset. So as you could proceed, there was a lawsuit behind this. So it's ongoing. Obviously this is very, very fresh news. The car was purchased in October timeframe, but obviously this is there's a residual fallout behind this. Yeah. So the car was inspected, basically didn't have what he thought was going to have on it. It was rebuilt, all those other things. However, Coys of Kensington said, hey, Mr. Pohl, you signed an agreement advising you that the car was rebuilt.
Ooh. So
obviously we don't have the contract. We don't have privy to that information. We just want to bring this to light, so we want to talk about it for a little bit. He wanted his money back from Coys. Coys agreed to give him his money back, but still to this date, money has not been returned to him from Coys. So, of course, pending lawsuit comes from that because money hasn't been transferred back.
Yep.
To be fair, Coys of Kensington obviously stated as well that the details, in everything, he didn't inspect the car. So,
right. I mean, yeah.
In addition to that, no one on his staff was inspecting the car. So he bought the car essentially sight unseen.
Yeah.
So, the details of the lawsuit, we don't have that. But he's claiming, this is an interesting part of what, and we'll get into this too, but I don't want to focus on this at the very moment, but we'll focus on this on the latter side when we start to close on this topic. He's claiming that the car is unsafe, and he's saying that they sold him an unsafe car. The details of it being unsafe haven't been released yet of why he's saying the car's unsafe. And the details of the lawsuit are not out yet because this is so recent. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, we talked earlier in the year about this whole speedster thing with Seinfeld. This is a totally different car, totally different situation. But they do share similar qualities of what kind of happened here. So car spot, sight unseen. Guy spends $500,000. However, Coys and Kensington's a very reputable place. Cars being claimed to be vintage, very authentic.
Well,
However, documentation is saying the car has been rebuilt.
That's like that's phrasing.
Is that? Oh, of course, yeah. I don't have all the details, and I don't have the legalities of what happened here. And so, what I'm guessing we're gonna have a conversation and a debate around theory here. So, do we think that there's so much documentation that was, you know how it is when you go buy a car? Is it in the fine print that the car said that it was potentially rebuilt, and maybe they
how
missed?
Far down was it?
Yeah. How buried was this? Was this on page 16 of 32, and the last line, out of 116 words on that page, and it was buried there, and that was on a page that was signed?
How concerned was he with the car? Besides, I want the car. I mean, it kind of sounds like that he might have purchased it, especially sight unseen, and probably sat for a little bit. Nobody probably looked at it afterwards. Then he finally had somebody look at it, and then that's when they started digging into it, and they might have found some things. But I mean, if they clearly so
let's approach this in stages,
okay?
Because there's a lot of what ifs and what could have been and may have happened. Stage one, you're a buyer, even if you're a billionaire. This is $500,000.
There's still something on the radar.
Do you or do you not? And I'm asking you personally. And it's easier to say after the fact because it's an after the fact, matter of fact situation, right? Course. But let's say like you're in the heat of the moment and try to, I know it's impossible to comprehend, to put yourself in that situation because neither one of us will be there. And I don't know if, I don't want to speak for any of the listeners, but to pull a trigger on a $500,000 car that you buy sight unseen. We're not billionaires. I don't know what that looks like. However, I understand this gentleman's probably pretty busy. And even if he isn't busy, his time still is very precious to him. So he probably is neither there.
He's got a guy.
Exactly. So my point is, where I'm going with this, even if you cannot go there, how do you not pay an independent to double check Coy's? Even though Coy's is up there, how do you not send somebody $5,000 to say, I need you to give me an unbiased opinion?
Third party.
I will pay for your month of salary in basically a day. I'll fly you in if I have to go look at this thing and give me a once over and tell me if this thing's good to go or not. When you're a billionaire.
That's definitely a plausible thing.
Is this just an attention to detail thing, or is this kind of
he could have purchased other things from this dealership?
Is this giving Coys of Kennington basically blind trust?
Yeah, I mean, what I would imagine is it's not the first car he's purchased from them, so it may not have been expected. It does seem like blind trust. It really does. But outside that, you would still think, no matter what.
Well, I don't give a shit who you are.
Yeah, that's going to be a car that
How do you just not send somebody? Obviously, you have the money.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the rarity of the car too. So many.
You don't need to be that damn frugal if you don't trust anybody around there. Like, okay, you don't have someone in your staff, or at least somebody who else knows. Like, if you're a car person, or even if you're not a car person, how do you not reach out to somebody and like, hey, what are you doing? Can you take 2 days off of work? No, I can't. Okay, I need you to take 2 days off of work. I'll pay you $10,000. I'll fly you first class to this place. And you need to give me a no bullshit assessment on this thing because I'm about to drop $500,000 on this thing. Is it not worth $10,000 to you to do that?
100% worth that.
Even I'm shooting on a ballpark number, like crazy number, to pay somebody's time, fly them first class, and put them up in the hotel to like inspect a car for you.
Because now it's even more time tired up.
Yeah, because think about the fallout now. Yeah. Like how much time.
Months.
Now he's got $500,000 that he spent that he wants back for a car that he claims is unsafe. Even if you are a billionaire, nobody wants to be duped. No. So even if he was out $10,000 to fly this guy there to see that the car was not represented as it should have been represented, well, $10,000. He probably wipes his ass with $10,000. The guy's a billionaire.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to accuse anybody of this. I don't know all the details of the situation. I just wanted to know what your thoughts and theories were behind that. And the shocking thing behind this to me, I don't know. Maybe it was a time situation. Maybe it was time sensitive, meaning like maybe this was not a car that you said earlier. Like maybe it was sitting around. Maybe you bought it. Maybe it was a car that a lot of people were chasing.
And he wanted to be in there.
And he wanted the car.
Yeah.
and we've all been there, and I know there's listeners that have been there. Of it. And he may even been like, I don't want to say he was hustled, but he might have been hustled in the sense of a salesman. Well, I got a guy.
We got 50 people looking at this car.
Well, not even. He's like, I got a Sultan of Dubai coming in today to go look at it. You know, he hasn't put a deposit on it, but he wants to inspect the car. You know, on the other line, the guy's like, send the funds, make it happen. Honestly, I can see where mistakes could be made, because if I was a billionaire and I'm sitting in my office or on my yacht or wherever I'm at, and my personal assistant says to me, he's like, I just got off the phone with them. They said that somebody's coming to buy the car today, yet there's no deposit. We can wire funds and you can buy the car. What do you want to do? I'd be like, wire them.
Yeah. I mean, you want the car.
Because when you want it and you're worth $1 billion, you're pretty much going to give everybody the middle finger.
Yeah.
And you're going to make it happen. So that could have been this.
It definitely could have been a heat of the moment type thing where it's time sensitive. But I mean, even with that, there's got to be somebody, the assistant, somewhere down the chain that's giving a due diligence to what's going down as far.
Well, I think it goes back to if for me and you, and we know this, and maybe because we're spoiled, because this is what we do, is the Porsche thing. We know that there's tons and tons of collections that people don't know. Maybe it would have been who of him to invest some time to befriend people,
to find somebody,
to find an inside broker that we know. Like we know brokers, and we're not even buyers. We know inside brokers that are people don't even know they're brokers, and they have access to like special cars, like the very first car ever built type of cars. So this guy with this kind of power and this kind of money, maybe it was just an impulse buy. Because how do you not check yourself as a vetting process to befriend people? And we talked about this offline many times. How do you not become close with somebody that you trust as a broker that has your best interest in mind and has the seller's best interest in mind, to make sure there's an amicable deal that happens for both of you, so he doesn't, because his name's on the line, he doesn't misrepresent either one of those cars, because we know very, very special cars trade in collections without ever going to public market.
No, yeah, exactly.
And usually the blue chip cars are those cars that no one ever sees or ever hears about, that say, okay, you're a gazillionaire. You have 70 blue chip Porsches. I'm a gazillionaire. We know this guy, it's in the middle of us, who brokers cars, and he knows that I want a car, and you have a car that you haven't driven in 16 years, but I want that car, and you want to feel good about selling that car, so you tell him the price, and then he tells me the price, and then we make it happen, and then the car comes from your garage to my garage, and no one ever knows except the three of us and our close circle.
Yep.
That happens every day.
Oh, for sure.
And at that level, and we know because we're at the bottom, but we know that level exists, at least from what we do. It's shocking even to this day how you can be a billionaire, and how do you not go get one of those cars?
Yeah, I mean, but again, he might not be, to give him a what-if scenario, he might not be in that network of car buddies.
Exactly. He could just be a new buyer with a lot of money.
Brand new Porsche buyer, and
he could be a raging asshole that nobody wants to deal with, too.
That is definitely the other side, that nobody, he's going to buy that? Oh, let him buy it.
Like, who is it? Oh, hell no, I'm not selling him the car.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Those guys want, if they're curating the car and they own it, they want somebody else. A lot of times, if this is a very, very special car, they don't want some clown to own the car. They want some other good guy who's like, dude, yeah, maybe he has 150 cars. He doesn't get to drive them all. Yes, he's a gazillionaire, but I know he's going to take care of it, and he's going to respect the car.
They want a good home for it, no matter what.
Yeah, if you're a true enthusiast, if you're just a person who's a collector and you have so much FU money and you don't care, then you wonder what the validity behind somebody's collection is. Because now, are you collecting just to collect, just to move money around because you have so much money, or do you really care about those cars?
I mean, it sounds like especially if he's hunting down a blue and white RS, that he at least has some type of knowledge.
Of course. I mean, you don't acquire that kind of money. I mean, he owns an insurance company. Yeah. He's German. He knows what the car is.
Yeah, he definitely knows.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, he sounds like he's knowledgeable enough, which is shocking maybe
He probably is, but
and
then
there's details like when I did my research too that wasn't all divulged. Maybe this car has provenance that wasn't announced in what I did my research on. Maybe it was advertised as even having more history than it did. So maybe that's why he was chasing this particular car because ex-wife, maybe there was only ever one owner, or maybe there were, who knows what the factors are that maybe triggered him to want that car. Maybe it was only ever a German car and it's always lived in the EU and it's never been in the US. Or who knows? I don't know.
Always lived in Munich for some weird reason. But
OG paint forever, never been touched. I don't know. I don't know this.
Probably looks spectacular.
I don't even know how this thing was written or like coaxed somebody into buying this. But anyways, I thought it was a good enough topic to talk about because we had a similar situation that happened earlier in the year with Seinfeld, and now this is happening again.
And Seinfeld's thing's not resolved either, has it? I mean, I haven't seen it, but that
I
doesn't mean it hasn't been resolved.
That's true, but I just haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah.
You're right. However, something would normally be announced. But anyways, I just thought it was an interesting topic. I thought it was worth bringing up. We don't know the ins and outs. I wanted to put the information out there for you guys because I know everybody's living a normal life and probably doesn't have time to see this.
Not reading everything Porsche headlines.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have, I don't want to call it a second thing because it's not like we're keeping track of this, but I mean, shit, 6 months ago, something like this happened with that Speedster, and now this is happening. And we talked about this with the Speedster. Is this going to be a reoccurring thing where things are being misrepresented? And some of these cars are so old, it's back in that day, it was pretty easy to duplicate documentation.
Yep.
It was easy to like restamp VINs. It was really easy to. We've talked to a lot of collectors and a lot of people in the know where, oh my God, there was only so many Le Mans 74 RSRs that really were raced. And this guy has one, but this guy thinks he has a real one.
But he doesn't.
But I have the real one, but he has a VIN code that stamps it as a real one, but I have the documentation sporting it as a real one. And we've talked to guys like this that have owned these cars, and there's only like 4 of them out there, but the one guy's like, oh, well, I have one. So like, what? There's a secret 5th one now?
And everybody's like, no.
I'm actually thankful that I'm broke. Like, to like not be in that realm because I just would probably, my head would explode. I'd be like, I'll murder you. Like, you just sold me
there's 2
fake. But anyways, good topic. Wanted to put that to bed. So you're listening to this. It's Thursday.
Yep.
Clearly, we're in Daytona.
We are.
We got here, Magic of Hollywood Wednesday. So yesterday.
Yeah.
How that works. So we're in Daytona. We're going to be here all weekend. If you're coming to Daytona, and why we're in Daytona, if you're not paying attention, we talked about it earlier in the show. The IMSA race.
Oh yeah.
Kickoff to the season.
Kicking it off.
Rolex 24. Be there, be square. If you're anywhere in the South region, you should be there. And even if you're not, you're living in a crappy cold place, pop a flight down to Daytona, get a hotel room, get an Airbnb, watch the race for the weekend.
Get some warm weather.
You're probably freezing your tail off wherever you live at anyways, even if you're over in Europe, wherever you're at. It's one of the better races in my personal opinion. I know I'm biased. We're Florida residents. Yep. It doesn't matter. It really is a good race. You can see it from a lot of angles. Again, the paddock's wide open to the public. And it's a great race from all manufacturers too. Even if you're a Porsche person listening right now, and if you're not a Porsche person, you like Porsches and you're aspiring to own a Porsche and you own something else, every manufacturer is there with a monster display booth and pretty much showing off whatever's coming out in 2020 because it's almost kind of their kickoff from a motorsport perspective
for the year
to say, come look at what we do in motorsport. And they have it at a display booth. They set up big booths there. There's a lot of giveaways. There's a lot of fun stuff. There's tons and tons of people. There's a lot going on. And I really feel bad for the people that don't go to that race and have never been to that race because you don't know what you're missing. And this isn't sponsored by any way by IMSA or Daytona or anything like that. But we're encouraging people to go because it's not for lack of, there's hundreds of thousands of people who go. So it's not that they don't need the help. But I'm telling you as a listener, you need to do yourself a favor and go to these races and watch at least this one and get maybe out of a cold climate and kind of watch this race. So we'll be there all weekend. Long story short, if you see us there, come say hi. I'm sure we usually have some kind of swag on us. We'll either give you a decal, at least talk to you for a little bit because we're not pretentious. And like I said, we have like 10 listeners. So If there's
Trying
like
to get to 11. We'll get there.
yeah, if one person comes up to us and I'm like, I listen and I'm like, oh wow, okay, so you're like, what are you, like number 9? But anyways, but in all seriousness, all the listeners, thank you guys so much. You guys should be out there. It's a kickoff to a new year. It's going to be a great year, busy year for Pcar Talk, busy year for the race season, and it's already upon us. So get out there. It's a great venue. In all seriousness, please come say hi. We've been to many race events where people don't come up and say hi to us. And I don't know if it's just for lack of, because they see us being busy. Please interrupt. It doesn't matter. You come say hi, shake a hand, get a decal, whatever. We love everybody who listens to us, because the fact that you even take the time to listen to us is like so heartwarming to us, and we appreciate that.
Still crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. So let's close with this. Aaron's been working very, very hard on, basically there's a club drive that's coming up. It's going to be in April. I'm not announcing the dates because I don't want anybody who's not a club member to even attempt to piggyback on this thing, because it's a club drive. It's going to be on the website. It's already out if you're listening to this now. If you are a club member and you want to attend, the email will be in your email box as we speak.
Yep.
Check your junk email as well. The only way you can register is if you are a club member, you will have an email password to lock, because this thing is locked for only club members. And the reason behind that is like, well, we're not taking all comers, is because we're trying to keep the event kind of boutique, because it's a driving event. And if you guys have any sense about it, you can't have 150 cars at a driving event. It doesn't work.
No.
So it's a 2-day event. It's going to be a mountain drive for 2 days. We're going to be staying in a hotel, obviously, or a cabin or wherever we're at. It's going to be 2 days of driving. There's going to be camaraderie. But you do have to be a club member. And you can easily become a club member. You join Pcar Club. It's on our website at pcartalk.com. You join the membership. Then Aaron will make sure that you get everything that you're supposed to get, and then make sure you get the password so you can sign up. Now, there are limited spots for this event, because what we talked about before is we are not taking all comers for this event, because this is not a moneymaker for us. This is more of kind of like a camaraderie event. This is more of kind of, let's hang out, let's do a dinner. There will be an official dinner Saturday night. There will be some giveaways, because we're working with some sponsors, some big giveaways. But with that being said, the whole goal of the event is to get Porsche people together, to go for a drive, and to have it loosey-goosey. A lot of these things are very stuffy. We're trying to have it, more of a flip-flop, T-shirt, hangout type of deal. And it's going to be a great 2-day event. Aaron's picked out a great area. It's pretty centrally located. It's in a mountain region, and it's going to be in April. So if you're a club member, get on there, check it out, sign up, participate. And if you're not a club member, sign up to be a club member if you want to go on the event.
It's that easy.
And I'm not kidding when I say this, and I'm not trying to use this as a marketing ploy. There is a cutoff number.
Yeah, and it's not big either.
Yeah, and it's a very low cutoff number, because we want to have the people that go on this event to enjoy the event. Because when you have too many cars on the event, everything bottlenecks up. Everything turns into a cluster. We have learned this because we've been on a lot of rallies with a lot of different places. And again, this is not a money-making event for us. This is more of just a get-together for club members. We're putting it together as a respect thing. So, and to put club members in face-to-face with each other, to have...
good to see that. Instagram name and actual face.
To have more relationships built, because that's what we're trying to do. So please do, if you haven't already, become a Pcar Club member on our website at at pcartalk.com. Under club membership. And if you do sign up in enough time, make sure that, Aaron will make sure you get the password.
For sure.
And it'll get to you, and then you can sign up. And those that are already club members, you guys are fortunate, because you are on ground level. It's very smart. You guys already have the passwords. And if you want to go to the event, make sure that you sign up, and make sure that, and I want to say one more thing. With all of those things, keep the locations and the dates to yourself. Like if you have a lot of Porsche buddies that are in the area and they're not Pcar Club members, as a respect thing to us, like you need to covet your membership. Do not share that. Do not share all that stuff, because I don't want to be an asshole and be at this event. And if you're not on a check-in list, when I check everybody in and we give everybody a wristband for being on the event, and we give everybody, because Aaron made decals to put on the cars, and this event's called Fahren, which stands for driving in German, and he made a really, really awesome decal, which everybody will be getting 2 that go on this event. Don't be that asshole who shows up and tries to go to this thing and tries to piggyback onto this event and tries to, because the memberships aren't that expensive.
No.
Our memberships are very, very, like, very affordable. I mean, people are buying $6,000-$7,000 exhaust. Get the hell out of here. You can't afford a $160 membership. Don't shut the hell up. Get the F out of town. Like, seriously, I know that sounds like an asshole thing to say, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because everybody who has paid their money should have an opportunity to go on it. So if you try to piggyback onto this, like, you are the asshole who shows up to this. And you're disrespecting everybody else who is a member. So don't do that. Don't be that guy or gal.
Yep.
Because don't put me in a position to have to call your ass out.
Been done.
Yeah, exactly. Enough said. I know that was kind of like a harsh thing, but I don't give a shit because that's real. That's that's real talk.
Passion.
Yeah, that's real talk. Seriously. Because I love everybody who's actually stepped up and became members.
Yeah.
And then there's so many other people out there that are screwing around, pretending to like, oh yeah, I'm going to join. I'm going to do this. Well, guess what? You just missed the boat on the drive, homie. And I don't care. It's fine. And it's not a money-making event. So it's fine. It's for actually the community.
Yep.
And the guys who want to get together and the gals who want to get together and go for a drive and share stories and share a weekend and share a 2-day event and have a good time. That's what it's for. So we're super excited for that. Thank you, Aaron, for doing so much work on that. He kicked some major ass. Do you have anything else before we shut this thing down?
No, I think we talked about a bunch.
Awesome. So long story short, hope to see you guys in Daytona because when you're listening to this, it's a Daytona week and it's IMSA kickoff. Let's get out there at Porsche and kick some ass, right?
Get it.
All right. See you guys later.
That's it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Pcar Talk. Connect with us on Instagram at Pcar Talk or online at pcartalk.com.